Welcome, everybody. This is the 20th episode of the Oreninc podcast series with Mickey Fulp. Mickey, this time we're doing it live. We're doing it different.
We're doing
this
it
time.
live.
We're not doing over Skype. We're here at PDAC 2018.
We have a camera.
We have a camera, and we're going to use it because we're going to walk the floor a little bit and discuss things we've seen here over the last three days. It's Tuesday afternoon, and PDAC, we get half a day ahead of us still, and let's talk about it. Let's talk what you've seen, and we'll talk about the financing environment while we walk.
Okay, let's walk.
So Mickey, like you've noticed, we've discussed that a couple times, that financings are just, the overall market is just really terrible. There's no retail buying. Financings have dropped to a low, and the mood here seems to be somewhat subdued. There's not I haven't felt overly optimistic people here.
No, I would agree it's a bit subdued. I think that the markets basically suck.
Yeah.
Metal prices are good, but these junior companies have not reacted, or well, let's put it this way: with few exceptions, some deserved and some not deserved. Yeah. They haven't really reacted to the increase in the bullishness in metal prices, and there's some reasons for that.
Yep.
Part of it being that most of these companies are not something that I would put my money in, nor
exactly.
you. Now, I don't know how many companies are here. I would guess somewhere between 400 and 500 maybe. And there's probably 5% of those that would even get my initial interest.
No, like when you see CEOs sitting behind their desks here at the booth drinking tequila all day.
I haven't seen that.
You got to be careful. They're drinking $100 tequila.
And I got to tell you, this is actually the third day of PDAC. It's in the afternoon. We're essentially got a half a day left. This is the first time I've actually walked on the exhibit floor, because all I've been doing is interviews or meetings, and generally off-site meetings, or meeting people for lunch. But the last thing I've really learned to do is, if I came to meet you at the Oreninc booth, and I'll go to a couple of booths tomorrow because I have some openings. But it's really hard I find it hard to navigate this floor.
Oh, it is. Like, there's a big map with, like, as you said, 500 names of companies out there, and just trying to find the right one to talk to and how to spend your time. I'm not sure how investors do it that are just outside from the outside looking in.
Here's something we're not seeing much of this year, and that's empty booths. Now, last year, so the business is getting better, because last year, this whole section out here, there was no one there, and there were lots of empty booths. So it's getting better.
No, it's busy, but my personal feeling is that the traffic in general is a little less than last year.
Is it?
I'm curious to see the PDAC numbers coming out.
Well, they've been saying 24,000.
Oh, okay, that's pretty consistent then.
Yeah, I think that's probably a bump up from last year. But realize that the bottom of the market was just a little bit more than 2 years ago. So I think we probably would have expected, especially metal prices, a quicker recovery. But we do have strong metal prices, which leads us to be optimistic.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about is, like, and you're an expert on this, is I've heard nickel is going to be zinc 2.0 in 2018. What's your opinion?
No, I'm not a nickel guy. Now, nickel's up 50% over the last year from its high to its low. Actually, more than 50%. Nickel depends on the steel industry. 96% of nickel is used either in stainless steel or specialty alloys. And so this whole idea of battery metals demand has some validity in the fact that you can substitute nickel for cobalt, and the cobalt price gets too high, then people just start using nickel in lithium-ion batteries. It doesn't work as well, but are you going to choose $40 cobalt versus $4 nickel, or $6 nickel, or $8? And the nickel price has gone from 4 to 6 and change this year, so it's had a good run. I'm probably at this stage more interested in my good old standby's gold and copper.
Oh yeah, same here. That's my bread and butter as well.
Yeah.
Any buzzwords you picked up? Any buzz commodities that here at this conference? Any trends you could point?
I think the trends that I see are the good companies are prospering.
Yeah.
And the bad companies are continuing to struggle. There's still 1,200 juniors, which is way more than we need. And, you got maybe 100 or 200 of those that actually have stories that may eventually work. And once again, you want to pick them as contrarians when they're unknown, unwanted, unloved, and undervalued.
I saw your talk yesterday. That was I enjoyed that line actually.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
No, that was a great one. Is it available on your website? The talk?
It will be available. The PowerPoint presentation will be on my website. It's not available right now, but by the time I get back to Albuquerque, the home office, and recover a bit from the show and the talking and the parties and the camaraderie. A lot of this is about just getting together with your friends that you only see once a year.
Exactly. No, I have the feeling I've seen a lot of people, but I haven't seen the people I wanted to see.
Well, I wrote about this a couple of years ago. The people that you really want to see, the one guy you really want to see, he's here, but you won't see him.
Yeah.
And the one guy that you really don't want to see, you don't want to talk to.
You see him every day.
You see him 5 times.
Yeah.
So that's the story with the show.
Exactly.
It's just so big.
It's buzzing. You can feel it. You can see it behind us. It's busy.
Yep, it is.
People are active. Yep. So, no. What else do we have to talk about? What else can we see here? You've done your talk on Sunday. I've presented this morning together with the PDAC talking about the state of the market.
Why don't you just mention where the index is now? Because the first quarter of the year is usually the most busy and where most money is raised.
Usually.
And that's not what's happened this year.
No, usually. That's exactly the word. It's really...
So what's the index this week?
No, it was 40 points this week, 40.6. So still very low.
Yep.
We've seen the large financings obviously in Lundin Gold, so Newcrest, the Lundin family, and I think it was Orion, if I'm not mistaken, came in for roughly $400 million US. And that is, if we would have put that into the index, which we cap off, that would have been 66% of the entire money raised in January and February. So that obviously, we cut that out. Our limit is $100 million as a financing cap. And now what we've seen though is a little jump in financing activity. So we've seen 27 financings open this week. So I think that's PDAC. It's a PDAC push. Companies want to talk about their financings. I met a couple here that just announced last week. And I think we spoke in that week. We recorded episode number 19 then. We saw 13 financings 2 weeks ago. And that was just the lowest we've seen since January 2016. So to wrap things up, PDAC seems busy, but the optimism is subdued. Companies have money. Companies are working, the good ones at least.
Yep.
And just to wrap it up, what are we looking for the next 8 months, 9 months?
I have no idea. We'll address that in a few months.
Mickey, appreciate it so much. Thanks for taking the time.
All right,
awesome.
Okay.
And that was Oreninc, episode number 20, live from the floor of the PDAC 2018.